what we have here behind me is our newest addition to the OPD fleet. This is a 2017 Ford transport van. This is what we're using for our prisoner transport. This replaces the old one we had, which was more of a box style vehicle with a gas guzzling V8. This is a lot more economical as far as that's concerned. Fortunately for us, this is part of our regular budget. We didn't require any special funding for this vehicle. This is just as our vehicles get age and miles racked up on them, this is just part of that regular replacement process. So that's what this falls under. But this one it's a much more streamlined vehicle. It's a lot easier to get individuals in and out of the vehicle. It has more secure departments. It's a little bit softer inside, where the other one was made of all steel with sharp edges. You know, this one is going to be a little more. It's going to be a lot easier for people to get in and out of, and less occasion for them to hurt themselves. This one has lights, for one, all over the place. I mean, it lights up like a Christmas tree. It's got plenty of lights on it. Some of the interior features we have, there's an updated camera system that allows us to view each compartment, each bay where a prisoner or individual may be housed inside the back. So we have clear video and audio. We also have the ability for temperature control back there to keep everyone as comfortable as possible while they're in the back. Yeah, I mean, again, it's got a lot of the features that the old one had on it that were add-ons. These come more factory. It's the newest equipment we have for keeping an eye on those that are housed in the back and secured in the back of the vehicle, which is incredibly important. And if we see someone that's hurting themselves or trying to hurt someone else, then we're going to be able to react a lot quicker with the video feed and the audio feed. And it allows us, there's actually two-way communication, where if we need to, we can actually communicate with them, not just hear them, but we can communicate with them as well. No, the last one did not have any steps. There was no rear load for the last vehicle we had. This one can actually hold a lot more passengers. There's side access, but on the back access, there are steps that fold down that allow people easier access into the rear of the vehicle.
I'm Detective Alsip. I'm on the Hazardous Devices Unit in Owensboro Police Department. Myself and Flory, Detective Flory, had a AP chemistry class from Apollo. They came by, we demonstrated and showed them the robot. It's an Andros F6. It's what we use to assist us with standoffs and other stuff here at the department. We just went over what the robot does, how it works, how it helps us in our job.
Its function for us has been from standoffs, barricade subjects, obviously improvised explosive devices and hoax devices. Luckily, it hasn't been shot yet, and it hasn't blown up yet, so we've been fortunate. It's been tipped over, tumbled.
It's been gassed several times.
It's been gassed. We were on Old Cabin Road, and the thing was gassed tremendously. The whole house was, and afterwards we had to clean that thing up. It was not fun. We'll go over some small functions on it. What do these look like? Anybody?
Guns.
They're guns. They are basically shotguns on steroids. We've got numerous kinds of rounds that we can put in them, all the way from enhanced blank, which is like, or black powder blank, which is like you would use at, say, a funeral when people do the shots, all the way to aluminum to steel slug that would go through a couple walls. However, what we like to use it for a lot is for general disruption of a package. So we will fill it with water with the enhanced blank or the black powder blank inside of it, and we'll just shoot the water at an object and disrupt an object. Now, it's just as powerful as many of our rounds. It can go through a concrete wall, so it's pretty powerful. It can breach a door. Water can do all kinds of things when condensed and shot with high velocity.
Now, on Old Cabin, we used a What did we have in there? Was it just black powder?
We just had a small black powder
We
blank.
put a black powder in there and shot off a doorknob because he had locked, the door was locked and we didn't know if he was in there or not. So we shot the doorknob and it shot it across the room. So
Actually, we were in an interior. It shot through the room and out the window. And we do explosive breaching too. I'm certified explosive breaching, and we don't quite have an SOP, but this is more dangerous to use to breach a door than our explosive breaching. So it's just a higher velocity.
And how often do you have to use it? Like in a month?
The robot in a month, I would say probably 10 times in a year. These 4 lenses right here are laser lenses, so which give a good sight of picture out here for a cross reference of basically the lasers will cross out at a certain distance, and basically it does the same thing as this laser up here is like a sight. This one's old school. We might as well get rid of it so we can have some better clearance, because this one gets knocked off every time we shoot a hard round to it. Obviously, this is what? A gripper. It's got a full 360 function, open and close, extend out. I do want to let you all know this thing is not the most exciting machine. Like he's talking about Hurt Locker. That one wasn't even going fast in sand, and this one doesn't go as fast as that. So it's a slow, meticulous machine used for things that are of a touchy nature. So if you have something that will high order with heat shock or friction, then you may not want to go up there and grab it real quick and take off, right? So you are at AP Chemistry, so if you have like HMTD, which is hexamethyl triperoxide diamine,
y'all got all that, right?
We got it.
Yeah,
or
you got
if
it?
you have a or if you have a TATP lab, which is triacetone triperoxide, this guy can go in there and collect a sample, as long as he's got the right person controlling him, to where he's not a bull in a china shop knocking everything over. And we can get a sample, bring it back out, and use our technology. Well, we don't have the technology. Kentucky State Police and the FBI do. We don't have a chemical ID yet. They're just too expensive. First Defender and another one. What was the other one? You remember? We set those up with this robot, and we can actually use a program to control it with the robot. And you set the ID up to it, and it'll tell you what kind of chemicals in there. So it'll spout out, well, it's a peroxide, or it's a perchlorate, or it's a, it's something you shouldn't be touching, or it's something that says, well, you might want to burn that house down instead of going to the We've got cameras. This one's a 360 camera, has a light up here. We can put a cover on it for function for blackout light that we can see at night. Cameras over here on the weapons mount, camera down here on the drive mount, and then we have our platform camera that will be a surveillance that can go up taller than me and look around.
And one person works all of that?
One person works all that. We are on a, fortunately, we got a grant for a wireless system to where we're not tethered on a fiber optic cable. Used to be back in my day, we'd have this reel on the back that was a big, about 500 foot of fiber optic cable, and it would stretch as far and as long as you could go. And then whenever you're done with the operation inside a house or anything, you'd have to backtrack backwards everywhere you go and reel that cable the whole time. Fortunately, we have the wireless capabilities now. Yet we still have the fiber optic, because there's areas like you'll go into a building that's has numerous layers, and you're going down underneath, and just the wireless system can't reach, and you have to take fiber optic. It has 2 articulators, which is on the back here and on the front. You can raise it up to where it can be on its tippy toes, or they can close up to where it's condensed to where you can get it somewhere tight. The wheels can come off. So like if we had to go into a bus, like we had a bus terminal operation, we'd take the wheels off, and we'd run strictly on track. Very rough. Obviously, you can tell it's probably beat, but it gets the job done. Battery life typically 8 hours. Today, no. So, and we typically have on hand 3 to 4 batteries, so we can get an operation done. If we know the operation is going to take a real long time, or we need to go to dual operations, we'll call in we'll call in KSB and have them bring one of theirs down. We are getting a new one, small one from I-Corps, I believe is where we're going through. And it's more of like a pack bot to where you can throw it out and it'll run. It'll have a really small platform, not this big array. It'll have a small arm and a small camera on top. And but you can also remove those to where you could throw it into a building and it could tumble, do whatever, and still take off running. And
So
that
you
one would be.
contract these out?
No, this one's ours. This is.
No, I mean like you contract someone else to build it and
Yes,
program it.
absolutely.
We get grants through the federal government, and then you have to give so many bids, and then they
Like
take
if-
the lowest
yeah,
bid,
just
like
if you
anything
get the
else.
phone. You got different companies out there showing you different things and different capabilities, and it's that to a larger level, obviously.
How much is it?
This one,
Yeah.
this one as it sits, probably 160, and
$160,000, not
Right.
$160.
and that was in 2005.
I was thinking 166.
So I don't know how much they've inflated their costs. I haven't searched on. This one's through Remote Tech, which is in Alabama. It is Alabama, isn't it? Yeah.
That was Tennessee.
It's either Southern Tennessee, Northern Alabama, right there on the fringe. Robot sits here in this little aluminum encased. The robot itself is not indestructible. I mean, a lot of it's aluminum casing. So, I mean, it won't take a blast, a real large blast. But the positive is, if it took one, that means I didn't. So, I'm still here. He's not. Oh well, we'll get another one. Hopefully, we got good insurance, right?
Can you show us how it might pick something up?
Sure, we can do that.
That one was
Now, as he told you earlier, he told you there was cameras on it. Well, there's 4 cameras. I don't know if he explained all 4 of them. This one extends up. There's one in the front so he could see better. But when he goes all the way up on them, probably I'm 5'7". They could probably go about 6. And these are articulators. He put them down so it don't bounce or it don't fall over, because they balance it. If you try to extend the arm like he is and you don't put those articulator down, it'll fall forward. Now, y'all seeing this in optimal conditions. Usually we'll find them under something. The handle's not going to be up. You know, it's not going to be something that.
That is so cool.
Now we would pick that up, take it somewhere else, away from people and everything else, and then we'd probably take those shotgun barrels, put some water in it, and just blow everything up. So yeah, we can't do that, but not here anyway.
She wants to know, is it unusual that Owensboro would have something like this?
Yeah, it's not typical. You mean have something like
We're
an explosive,
originally from
or
We're originally from Litchfield, so Grayson County, Litchfield Police Department, would they have something like
no,
this?
no. There's only we cover a grad area, and we cover 9 counties.
Okay.
We have one. Paducah has a bomb squad. The state police have a full-time bomb squad. I was talking to them earlier about how many squads there are in the state. In the state of Kentucky, there's only 5 squads. There's us, the state police, who are a full-time squad, Lexington, Louisville, and then Paducah. Besides that, we're the only one in this area. We cover a 9-county area. It's called a grad area.
On this side is all green. It's your video and your lighting. Anything that has to do with how you see. In the yellow is all your functions, as far as from all the way from your cable reel, if we had the cable on there, to extending the arm out to moving it forward, or articulators up and down. And now over here in the red, this is your joystick for your movement, in yellow obviously. Over here in your red, this box, that's your firing or tool system. That's how we would, it's even dummy proof on the firing system, because you have to make a switch and then you have to turn a key. So you can't just accidentally, oops, press a button. He's been used, let's see, he's been used on Christie Place for a device underneath the car. He was used in at the entrance of Gabe's Tower for a hoax device that was lodged in the concrete border of a flower, like a landscape place. He was used.
Oak Cabin.
Oak Cabin for a standoff. He was used over at the Colonial House for an actual device in a briefcase. But that was more of a, like an aerosol can with nails and screws attached to it with some sort of wig.
Most recently, we used him on Surrey Drive. We had a guy over there that was inside that didn't want to come out. So
Yeah. That was towards the end of last year. That was his last operation, really. We've been slow lately, which is, it can be good.
Right.
Sometimes you're like, man, I really need a break. He was used in Bowling Green on a guy that was barricaded himself in a house and killed somebody, and then he ended up killing himself. And they were standing up on him for about 24 hours, their SWAT team. And finally we get down there and we put on a thing we call a mini, it's called a mini gander. Sounds pretty country, doesn't it? Take a gander. It's actually a big spear that comes out that's in the gripper, aluminum spear, a tube with some cameras in it, and a big spike on the end of it. And basically what it does is you can penetrate a truck, this trailer, any trailer, a car, or what we did on that with windows. And we looked around the house. The last window we could reach, we broke into it and found him, almost accidentally stabbing him right over his head, and looked around and there he was. But the good thing was, we found him. We didn't have to roll the dice and run up in there and look for him, or Bowling Green SWAT. And once we did find him, we saw no movement for quite some time. A gun and some pills. Kind of figured out what was going on. And so then they made their non-dynamic approach inside to do a particular search.
When you get a call, how long does it take you to like get all round up and respond? Is it as fast as a police car would be able to?
No.
Obviously, we're not full-time,
Right,
so
okay.
we're not stationed ready to go. I'm a detective, he's a detective.
Right.
Our commander's a training sergeant. So and it used to be even worse than that. I was on night shift, he was on days, and our sergeant was somewhere else. And we'd all be coming from different areas, different times. And one or two, or typically 2 or 3 of us will respond, get the stuff ready, get the trailer attached, and within 30 minutes or so, 30 to 40 minutes we're rolling.